when I grew up, you know, it was the hero that got celebrated. You know, that's what we celebrated. Whereas these days, it feels like so often maybe that the victim gets celebrated, which means the self-reliance goes out the window because you always know that if something goes wrong, you throw your hands up and say, well, look what happened to me. And people will come over and say, oh, that's so terrible. We should go get them or fix you. And do you feel like the world's going that way to where self-reliance isn't being as emphasized anymore and sometimes is the opposite's being rewarded? And is that something to be concerned about?
Yeah, I see where you're going. I mean, personally, I look at it as like there's just a lack of consequence these days, right? Um, and if there is consequence, it's really extreme, like the whole cancel culture and some of these things that are just so so far out there that, I try to just steer away and stay away from all of it as much as possible. On the self-reliance side, I've noticed there's a balance, right? Because if you say like homestead or you say like prepper, those things turn people off immediately. And for some reason, I don't know why, but it just does. But self-reliance in itself, as long as you stay with that kind of wording, I think people are finally, especially after this, 2, 3 years, right, global shutdown, people have realized really just how important it is. And and I think more and more, at least here in the States, they're embracing it more and more. And I only know that, through the metrics of book sales or the stuff I put out, what does well and what doesn't, right? And if it does great, then you're assuming, oh, okay, people are catching on to this. Or if it doesn't, then, well, they don't like that. So, but yeah, I feel like the victimization stuff is really strange. Like I think we kind of put ourselves in a bad place by paying everybody more than what they were making, right, for an extended period of time. That certainly hasn't helped our economy. Um, I think the U.S. finally realizing, wait a minute, we need to start exporting more than we import with the supply chain issues, right? Now we're all of a sudden like, oh, manufacturing in the United States, good idea. It's amazing what it takes for us to learn our lessons, though, right? I mean, it's strange times, and but also at the same time, like, wow, we're all living a pretty interesting life. We're all facing these crazy obstacles that not all generations get to toy around with and figure out how to survive. So it's, try to be optimistic and look at what kind of fun you can have. Me and my daughter are the ones watching, The Walking Dead going, man, if that happened, we'd be great. We would be like just awesome.
You finished the book with this acronym CALM, and maybe we can wrap up there because it's probably a good way to kind of remind people of something to think about at the end. But what does CALM stand for as far as an acronym, and how do people use that?
Yeah. So, little backstory: Escape the Wolf, the book, became my company, my crisis management company, and de-escalation has, without a doubt, become really important with the number of active shooters and violence, and whether it's bullying, intimidation in the workspace, all of that is kind of categorized together. And then how do you deal with it? Well, you can run away from the problem. Obviously, increasing distance increases survivability. But if you can't, you're kind of face to face with it, then de-escalating is your next best thing, and try to de-escalate the situation. So CALM is CALM, which C is utmost important: remain calm. Do whatever it takes, even if you have to fake it, right? Because like we discussed before, panic is contagious. We don't want to do that, especially if you're facing someone. Yeah, it's real easy to mirror them. Like if they're yelling and screaming at you, it's real easy to start yelling and screaming back. If they're standing and they're all bowed up, and it's real easy to stand up and start bowing up to them. And you just don't want to do that. You want to remain calm, take the higher road, and just keep it all level. You do not want to escalate. A is basically you want to show appreciation. Hey, thank you for bringing this to my attention. You're almost kind of like verbally embracing them, right? To kind of throw them off a little bit. L is listening and learning. And so, hey, all ears. People don't realize how powerful just being silent is. Not everything requires a response. Silence is an incredible weapon when you're trying to de-escalate, because a lot of times people who are emotionally charged just want to be heard. And so if you're keeping your mouth shut, and like I said, if you're just faking listening, do it, or actually listen to them, right? And then when you're listening to people in those moments, the empathy will be written all over your face. And whatever you're communicating through facial gestures could very well save your life. And then, of course, M is manage your own personal awareness in your space. Manage your distance between this person, right? Make sure you're always looking around at your outs. Make sure you're noticing, I can grab that stapler off the desk and hit him in the face if he starts to attack me, right? You're managing the entire bubble, that entire situation. And I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version, by the way. But CALM. It's a cycle. It's not just a one-time deal. You're always saying, okay, calm down. Okay, show some form of appreciation. Ask them if they want to sit down and talk about it. Okay, make sure you're listening. Use silence as a weapon. Okay, now managing my environment, maybe walk, I'll take a step to the left, get myself closer to the door, back to calm again, right? It's a nice loop. It's super easy. And hopefully, if used correctly, it'll de-escalate the situation. But like the element of surprise, when you're dealing with someone who's emotionally charged, you could do everything. And that person just still has violence, in their mind. They know I am going to be violent. And because of that, that's why managing and making your way to the door and always looking for your outs and looking for the improvised weapons is so important. And you always have to expect it, right? So that's calm in a nutshell, buddy.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?